we're now going to discuss the halacha that hanerot bimkom leadlik hanerot bimkom hanachatam. That a woman should try her best, make her best effort to light the candles where they are obligated to be lit. So what does that mean? If we know that ideally either the dining room or where you'll be sleeping, those are the most ideal places that should have a Shabbat candle lit, because the whole idea is for Oneg Shabbat and for Shalom Bayit, to be able to see. Halacha explains that you're not allowed to make the Beracha in the attic or in a room that isn't used. I don't go in that room at all on Shabbat. You can't make a Beracha in that room and then move the candles to somewhere that's useful. Why? Because the Bracha needs to be made and then the candles have to be lit in the most ideal place where the mitzvah is applicable. So in the dining room, in the kitchen area, wherever is safe, that there's no, God forbid, danger for fire, but you can also see it when you're eating food as well. So that's the ideal halacha in the most perfect way. Now what about in scenarios that aren't so lechatchila? Like for example, if she's sick, she's not feeling well, she's in bed. So in that case, because if she's in bed, the husband can help out and bring her the candles. She can light the candles from in bed, and the husband can then move them before Shabbat begins to the safe place where they usually light them by the kitchen area or by the table, and that still counts because the bedroom is also a place that is obligated to have the mitzvah of candles, because they are there, they need light, and it's not as if she's lighting in a place that is useless, as we don't go into, and then moving it. The whole idea is you cannot light the candles in a room that isn't used and then move it. Rather, the candles must be lit, the Shabbat candles must be lit in a room that will be used throughout the duration of the Shabbat, so it won't be, God forbid, a bracha levatela. Now, also it's important to make a note that this moving the candles only applies in strenuous situations and even before Shabbat. But if during Shabbat, if you just lit the candles without anything else, you wouldn't be allowed to move those candlesticks because they would be considered mukseh, and you can't touch them until Shabbat's over. There are other ways around that. We'll get into that when we learn halachot of mukseh. Now, what about if a woman forgot to light a Shabbat candle once? We're nearing the end, and these are the interesting halachot by the end of the topic. If a woman forgot to light the candles, isha sheshacha pa'am achat leadlik nerot Shabbat tzricha midin knas leadlik kol yamea ner nosaf al ma she'ayta regila leadlik ad achshav. So if she 1 week forgot to light Shabbat candles, the Chachamim instituted a knas, sort of like a fine, not a punishment, but a fine, that she should always light one more candle every Shabbat to commemorate that one Shabbat that she forgot to light the candle. And its idea is to make sure that she doesn't forget, because it's very crucial, very important that they have light in the home, and also for her to be on top of her game, quote unquote, and be careful, like, oh my, if I forget 1 week, I'm going to have to do it an extra one for the rest of my life. It's a lesson that she'll learn. But this only applies if she didn't light any candles, anything at all. Because we learned already once that from the letter of the law, 1 candle for Shabbat is enough. There are minhagim to do 2, to do 7, to 1 per person in the household. Those minhagim are nice. As long as she lit 1 candle, she doesn't have to do this knas in the future, this fine, quote unquote, and it's okay. If she forgot to light all together, then she would continue to light an extra candle every time she lights in the following weeks. B'ezrat Hashem, we should have a wonderful week.